Great story of a wedding couple, not this wedding couple, a different wedding couple, and they were so excited. They were very big into community, this couple, and so they said, we want everyone to help contribute to our wedding, but not through gifts, not through normal gifts anyway, but through wine. But we don't mean wine, just everyone give us a bottle. What we want is for everyone to take a bottle of wine. We're going to give you a big barrel, and we want everyone to take their own bottle of wine, whatever it is. We don't care if it's white, rosé, red, whatever. Pour it into this big barrel, and we'll all get to drink our community wine when we celebrate together. It was a little weird, but everyone loved it. Everyone was into it. They're like, yes, this is going to taste so good because it's not about what type of grape it is. It's about coming together as community. So one by one, you saw people take their bottle, pour it in over and over again. Except one guy thought to himself, well, wait a minute. Wine is kind of expensive, right? Even the bottom shelf stuff for me is a little expensive, this guy said. Everyone else is bringing their wine. Maybe I'll just bring some water. I'll pour water into this bottle and I'll put it in. Who's going to notice that? Some of you know where this is going. So who's going to notice that the barrel is diluted? And so he did, and no one noticed. And so everyone, one by one, they poured their wine. And finally, the big day came, and the wedding couple is like, okay, we're going to celebrate. Let's pour our first glass of wine. They turn the spigot, and of course, only water comes out. Because it turns out that everyone had been thinking just like this individual. Who's going to notice if I bring water? Everyone brought water. It's a good example of communal responsibility, of everyone being responsible for each other, which is something we read about in our Torah portion. So as I said earlier, we're in Mitzorah. B'nai Mitzvah, it's their worst nightmare, all about sara'at, skin disease, what some call leprosy. It's this physical, spiritual rash of sorts that can affect a person, it can affect a house, it can affect clothing. And it begins with how to welcome someone back into the camp. It goes on to the house, and it concludes with other things that can make you impure, because this is all about impurities. If you have this skin condition, you're impure, you have to leave, you have to come back. And it ends with other things that make one impure. Spiritual impurity, things that are taboo, that make us not okay to touch the spiritual sites. And at the end of the Torah, we read, V'hizartem et b'nei Israel mi tum atam. You shall put the Israelites on guard against their impurity, lest they die through their impurity, by defiling my tabernacle which is among them. In other words, you have to be careful with these impurities. They're dangerous. You have to make sure that if you are impure, that you do the right rituals and follow the rules so that you can enter back into the camp. You don't want too much impurity to build up, lest you die. Dr. Elaine Goodfriend, who's at the California State University Northridge, elaborates on this verse. She says, the consequence of allowing impurity to accumulate without taking the necessary remedial steps is national suicide. The death threatened here is not the death of the impure individual, but the collective existence of the people among whom God resides. In other words, this verse is not talking about individual death. It's talking about, it's not saying that if you are impure, you will die. It's saying that if too much impurity gathers on the whole community, then God can no longer dwell amongst that community. And without God, there's spiritual or communal death. So sure, one person can be impure, and another, and another, and another, but you keep adding over and over and over again, and soon enough, everyone is impure, and God can't dwell amongst the people. Just like when everyone adds water to the barrel. Now, on the one hand, this teaches us to be wary of impurities. Again, for the ancients, this was a physical, spiritual state of being. They became taboo. They couldn't enter certain spaces or touch certain items. For us, we might think of impurities like forgetting our values, spreading gossip or rumors or unkind words, forgetting to step up or volunteer or donate tzedakah, committing, but then at the last minute backing out over and over and over again, harming others through words and deeds, these are the things that make us impure. Because when we do these things, it's hard to form community. When we do these things, it's hard to feel God's presence. But on the other hand, when we do the opposite, then God can dwell here. When we make beautiful music together, when we learn together, when we give tzedakah or time or other resources to our community or to those in need, when we support each other after the death of a loved one, or knit together in, twisted stitches, or celebrate 60 years together, when we do these things, then we create community. Then this is a pure community in which God can dwell. So may we continue to build this pure community. May we add wine, not water, grape juice is fine, to our barrel of our joys. May we support each other, learn together, celebrate together, and let God dwell among us. Amen.
Amen.
I invite you to take a few moments to invite God into this space, into your hearts.